been about 3 years since I built my dream garage. A few people have asked me for an update on how things are going. So here's the 5 things I want to tell you about. Number 1, the very poor state of the outside wood. 2, how the epoxy floor coating's holding up. Number 3, the heating situation. 4, how well my cheap IKEA worktop is holding up. And 5, why I've still not got the water connected up yet. So let's start with the outside. Here's what the outside of the garage looks like after 3 years. The only thing I put on the wood was a fire retardant paint, which was a building reg requirement. And as you can see, it could probably do with something else now. I mean, it's down to bare wood here, so I should be putting something on it really. Maybe a clear varnish or a stain? I don't know. If you have any thoughts, let me know. Onto the epoxy floor. Now this wasn't a very expensive epoxy paint. I think it was only a few £100, which is one of the cheaper options. And apologies for how dirty the floor is, but you know, you clean it and then like drive a car and it's dirty again, so I've kind of not really bothered. Generally, the epoxy coating's been holding up well. There are a few patches where it's kind of just ripped off, I'll show you. There's a spot here, and a spot here. Oh, and a spot here, and a spot here. It's come off mostly where the tyres on the car come up and down and sit, so I guess they get an extra bit of wear that the rest of the floor doesn't get. A little bit disappointing, but oh well. So on to the heating. The original plan was to put a heat pump on that back wall where that plug is just there. But it was going to cost about £700, so I kind of thought, we'll see how cold the garage is and then make a judgment call. And, you know, in the winter, the garage does get quite cold, mainly for 2 reasons. One, the floor, it's not insulated, so basically gets down to 5 or 6 degrees in the winter here, so obviously cold air comes up. And number 2, I didn't buy an insulated door. I went for roller doors, and that doesn't keep any of the heat in. It's quite thin. I had the option to go for a sliding door, which would take up more space, but probably would have been a better decision in hindsight. So whilst I could spend a few £100 putting some insulated matting on the floor and maybe putting some insulation in front of the roller door to keep some of the heat in, I generally find that if I have this little heater on for a couple of hours, it takes the chill out of the garage. It makes it fairly pleasant to work in. And this only cost me about 8p a kilowatt to run because it runs off my house battery. Onto the worktop, I'd always intended to put like a thin aluminium sheet or stainless steel sheet over the worktop to protect it, because it's just like a kitchen worktop with a very thin laminate on the top. And as you can see, it's just getting a bit of wear and tear. So that's on my list to do. So onto the water. The original plan was to have a pressure washer constantly connected to the water supply here, so I could quickly just dash out, clean my cars on my little turning circle there, and be really quick and easy. I also wanted to try putting a little water filter. This is a deionizing filter. The theory being that if you wash your car, this should take all the kind of impurities out of the water, so that you would either have to spend less effort drying it, or maybe not even having to dry your car at all, because it's like pure water. It wasn't expensive, I think it was like £30. I thought, give it a try. Anyway, so I've been to Screwfix and I've investigated the wild and wondrous world of NDPE and copper and push fit plumbing. So I'd like to connect up my pressure washer and also have an external tap outside. How hard can it be? Here's my grand design. So main water comes in on a 25mm MDPE connection, gets reduced down to 15mm, a T to split it off, so 1/2 goes to the filter and then the pressure washer. I've got a separate cut off here because I don't really trust these connections on the mains pressure when I'm not kind of around. And then we've got another flexi push fit, goes to the outside tap. All I've got to do is plumb it in this cupboard. And here we are, all connected up. Here's my main shut off. Then that goes up here to another shut off filter, and then hose, which will go to the pressure washer. And then obviously this side goes up to my outside tap. So let's turn things on and hope it doesn't explode. And so now we can turn this one as well. Oh, I can hear something. That seems to work. Lovely. Turn this off. But does the outside tap work? Yay! And it doesn't leak. Here's the pressure washer all connected up, ready to go. So let's clean the car and see what difference this filter makes. Foamy. So I've cleaned the car as I normally would. What I'm going to do now is going to rinse it off for the last time and not dry it. And we'll see if there's any streak marks left. Here goes. I've left the car to dry. Let's check for any streaks or watermarks. Can't see any on the bonnet. Nothing on the glass. Side glass, no. Sides of car. Wow, who'd have thought? Actually worked.